Dawn here in Lanzerati and my last day. Yes, that's what it is. It's been quite tough since I left Tenerife. I spent a while on Fuerteventura and the wind is blowing all the time from the north, and the only place I can fish really is this pier in Lanzerati where the wind just comes off my shoulder, kind of. It's kind of coming diagonally across this pier right now, and I get some shelter down here. It is relatively calm right now, but give it 10-15 minutes and it'll be howling. Yes, so that's what I've got. And will I hook up? That's the big question. Will Poseidon provide? This is where I start a lot of days, doing pretty much what I'm doing right now. And there's nothing wrong with that. Down we go. We start fishing, yeah. So I am going to get set up. The rod is the Sniper XD 50 to 120 grams. Lure Killer Twin Power SW 6000 HG. Second hand jig, 80 grams. One previous owner. Not that careful by the looks of things.
I was careful.
And a pair of 6/0 twin assists. There you go. So that is the tackle. Up my head you go. And we get some fishing done, yes. This is going to be my last cast here on the Canary Islands, and then going back to the mainland onto a new adventure. Let's get this last cast in and get the journey underway. So unfortunately my last chance at another pelagic has slipped through my fingers, but that is why they call it fishing. I'm gonna get my car packed up and I'm gonna head on the road. Let's go. Why I don't own nice stuff, right? So this is where I am, Denmark's north coast, and I'm fishing this beach in particular because I know it. The weather has been quite crazy everywhere over the last few weeks, and on my return from the Canaries I decided to stop in France and have a bit of a fish on a beach that I fished for many years, but nothing came of it because of this crazy weather that we've been getting. So this is a clip of the beach I was fishing in France. Thought I'd be able to fish it. There was no wind. It's an Atlantic beach. Because of the crazy high pressure, this is what happened. Check this out. Hello and welcome to this part of the adventure. Right, I'm not going to say where I am exactly, but I'm in the south of France, and yes, the sea is quite challenging today. And these are the small rollers. Here comes some good ones, obviously. Yeah. But it is always crazy on this beach in the beginning. Hopefully as the tide moves along the sea will settle down a little bit. But it's why I'm here. There's a tremendous amount of food in this area, a tremendous amount of water moving, and some tremendously big fish. What I've caught here in the past is eagle rays, Atlantic stingrays, and such beasts. And maybe, if I'm really lucky, I will catch one tonight. But for now, I've only got one bait in the water. There are a lot of small rays here generally, but I'm not interested in them. When I say small, 10-15 pounds. Are we on already? I think we might be on already. So I'm not sure what's actually happened here. Is it just the tide running off, or have I got a small stinger on? Well, we'll find out anyway. Turn that nonsense off. Nah, just the tide. Well, you can see what the water is like. It's a bit crazy, right? But it's quite often like that here, so I might actually have to stand with the rod. That's what you have to do sometimes. Look at these guys. The size of them. Yeah, this place can get quite spooky sometimes in the night time. Especially when a big fish comes on and the sea is like this. So I'm just gonna hold the rod for a while, like my South African brothers. Stay tuned. Yeah, some waves. I did give it a shot, but it was unfishable. So then I jumped into the Coche and I headed north. And I find myself here for now. And the targets today are low profile fish, that's right. On this beach in particular, all you really get is flounder and dabs and the odd place. I always thought you might get a few turbot here, but it has never produced for me ever. So right now I've got one rod in the water and I'm going to walk you through the gear. The rod is the Abu Hellbender, 4 to 8 ounces. Can't cast 8 ounces, well it can, but it won't go very far. And the reels are the Daiwa 7HT Millionaire, yes. They are loaded with 35-pound 4-strand braid. They all have 100-pound 4-strand leaders on them. And the rigs are, right now I'm fishing the Pulley X on the left-hand rod, and I might put the same rig on the right-hand rod. But anyway, it is a series of 3 rigs. I have a build on all of them in the same video, and I will link it in the description. Today the baits are frozen lugworm, my frozen blow lug. I will link that video in the description as well. It's a great way to process bait for the winter or all year. This way you will always have bait in your freezer and ready to go. Don't think that they are inferior to fresh bait. In actual fact, they work better. Don't believe me? Try it, that's all I can say. I will show you the rigs as I'm baiting up, and I will show you how to bait up as well in this video. I think I've got you covered. Oh yeah, and how to pump lugworm as well, which is something I also do myself. I try not to buy bait if I can help it, right? But blow lug are a lot more ready available, and you can pump them with great ease, right? I'll link that video in the description. Okay, so I'm going to pull out a rig, get it on the right hand rod, get it baited up, get it into the sea, then you can catch up with me. Yes. All right, so off. You see that? The size of it. There's a walrus. Yes, it is. No, it's a big, huge grey seal. They're kind of rare here. It's kind of weird to see one. Huge grey seal, very rare to see them here. So that means I am going to catch nothing. Not unless he buggers off, right? But also, I've been met with quite a problem. When I got down here, normally what I do is just look in the water where the waves are breaking, and I look for weed. Since there's a side wind, it's always very bad here with a side wind. And I couldn't see any, but then I cast out, and after about 5 minutes, a lot of weed swept along sideways, collected on the main line, was going to pull the rod over. So this is for obviously people who are new to the sport. If you're faced with this situation, if there isn't that much weed, but it is going to cause you problems if you fish the rods like this, because the lines are going to go straight out, the weed is going to collect on the side, and it's going to push your rods over, right, eventually, especially if you got 2 out, right? So what you do is this. It's quite simple. That's it. You turn the rods this way, you cast out, you give the finger to the seal, and the same thing exactly again will happen. The rigs will be swept down tide by the wind and the tide or whatever, and your rods won't fall over. The tips will just go down and you'll be grand. You still have to deal with all the weed, but now you won't have to deal with broken tackle. Okay, simple. And hopefully I'll get a few fish. The only thing I'm going to catch now is really flounder, and maybe a schoolie or something like that. But That's the way it goes. Lovely. Right now I got no fish. But that's the way it goes. Oh God, what a mess. So here's what I'm talking about, right? It's been a few minutes. You can see the clothesline of weed on my main line there, dragging on that tip. And as the whole lot moves along, it gathers more weed and more weight and ends up down tide. And eventually, if you left it long enough, it will wash up down here, especially on stronger tides and stronger winds. But you never know what's going to happen, and you can't have your gear being pulled over. Life is far too expensive for that. The fishing, even with flounder in these conditions, is usually much worse than normal, but you will catch a couple of flounder always, especially if it's like this. Yeah, there's the clothesline getting even bigger now. You can see what I'm talking about. You can see it moving along gradually. Literally 30-40 seconds later, it has moved even further along, and give it 5 minutes, it's going to be up on the beach there. So I'm just going to bring it in right now. It might be moving quicker because there's a fish on it, you never know. It's impossible to see a bite in this mess. Just forget about it. So we give it a tug and see what's going on. It's going to be up on the beach in a few minutes anyway, so I might as well bring it in, get less weed on it. Yeah. Oh, loads of weight on it. I got to walk down to it. Makes life a little bit easier on you, instead of hauling it sideways up through the wind and the current. The smaller fish, they seem to like these conditions. 22 to 25 centimeters, something like that. Look at all that weed, look. Yeah, that's what it's all about, man. Look at it all. Nasty. Oh, there might be a fish on it. Look at that tip ring. It's all going to jam up in the leader. Oh, we have got a fish. We have got a fish. We have to walk him in, the leader's all jammed up. Here we go. Flounder, I bet you. Yep. Okay, second cast fish. Nice. Come here, you. He's a keeper as well. What a palaver. I don't know if we keep or not. I'm not that fond of flounder, really. If you can go back, you can go back, right? There we have fat flounder, yes. Let's see if we can get him off the hook. Put him in this bucket for now. So there he is in there. And no, not this time. The fish has swallowed that well down. They are circle hooks, not miracle hooks, unfortunately, for this guy. But I will take this fish home and eat it. So I'm going to kill this fish now. I'm going to ikijime it. Before a flatfish becomes a flatfish, it is actually a round fish. And then it makes a metamorphosis and the eyes migrate over to one side of the head and it becomes a flatfish. So his brain is where all round fish's brain is, right there. You stick that in there like that. There you go, like that. That's it. That fish is dead. You take your knife, you cut across his tail, then you take your wire. This wire is made of nickelized titanium. It's extremely flexible. You can find it on AliExpress if that's something you need to do. Now you pass it down the length of the fish, down through its spinal cord, and you'll see it come out the end of the tail. I'll show it to you. Watch it come out the tail. There you go, right? So it's traveled the entire length of its spinal cord, is pushing out that spinal material and severing any connection between the fish's nervous system and its flesh. Fish have an autonomic nervous system, so although you think they're dead, a lot of their systems are still working and still damaging the flesh of the fish. So that's it, into the bucket. Right, let it bleed out. That's all you have to do. If you'd like to see a more in-depth video about how to ikijime a fish, I'll link it in the description as well. It is common when the conditions are like this that you deep hook fish because you can't really see the bites because of the wind and the weed, right? So the fish, rather than you setting the hook, they just keep on swallowing it. Normally I see the bites and you get to set the hook on the side of their mouth and that's the way it goes. But when the wind is like this and the weed is being a pain, you don't really get to see it very often. Not unless it's a large fish like a schoolie or a codling or something. Since I've got the whole lot out of the water, I might as well walk you through the rigs, right? This is the Pulley X and it's a blending between a pulley rig and a Wessex, right? Got a relay clip right there, goes down to this angel clip. The top snoot comes down to the other side of the angel clip there, and both baits end up behind the sinker, which I will show you now. So there we go, there's both baits down in behind the sinker. You'll see this arrangement now in a second when I'm baiting up the other rod. Okay, so this is the second rig, right? We have one more apart from this. It's called the pulley D, and that stands for down, one down. But this is just pulley P, right? So it's a pulley up the top, paternoster, angel clip. Both clip down the same way as this one. In fact, all three of them do the same thing. But you'll see that in the rig build if you want to go and watch it. This is what I've got going. I call this the flatfish hair. I came up with it about 6 or 7 years ago before I started YouTube. And you will see it in my first video, right? In that video, I can't remember, I either fish it up against J hooks, or that's the second video or whatever. I think in the second video I fish it side by side with J hooks just to prove the point, just to prove its effectivity. It wins hands down. Also the bait as well. I fished frozen versus fresh as well. The frozen came out on top as well. If you want to check them out, they're my 2 first videos. I left them up there just as a point of fact. Yeah, the intro is a bit ropey, but you know, what can you do? It's my first 2 videos, right? Don't judge me too badly. But what is going on here is I developed this from a South African dingle dangle, right? And it's just for worms instead, right? I have a video on how to create the hair as well, which I will link in the description. It's just a short video, won't take you very long to watch it, won't take you very long to understand it either. It's very simple. Right, so I'm going to get some bait on this. I'll show you how that works. It's amazingly simple. The idea behind this is the bait is the first thing into the fish's mouth and the hook is the first thing out. Flatfish find this incredibly easy to get into their mouths because it's very flexible and malleable, and they can suck it in there absolutely no problem. The hook I'm using is a slight bit big for dabs, but the dabs where I'm fishing right now are quite sizable, so they won't have any trouble either. The flounder here, they get all the way up to, I think my best was 58 centimeters, so the average size is between 25 and 30. They'll eat that absolutely no problem in this configuration. If you're doing the same with J hooks, it's going to take longer for them to get into their mouths, put it that way. So we got some bait on us. Wow, yeah. So here we go. This is one of my frozen blow lug. This is not a black lug, this is a blow lug, right? Pretty impressive, right? What I want to impress upon people is with flatfish, especially the smaller ones, not halibut, dabs, flounder, plaice, that kind of thing, less is always more as far as bait is concerned. If the fish are there, they will find your bait regardless. It doesn't need to be 6, 8, 10 lugworm, right? Or half a peel of crab. They will just find it. It works in Ireland, it will work in the UK, it will work in France, it will work anywhere, right? I'm going to stick the needle in just down from the head of the worm. So there we have it there. Lots of tension in the bait needle. That's it. Then you take that head tag onto the hook, and that just keeps the bait where you need it to be, right in front of the hook there. If it masks this flatfish hair, bait clip, whatever you want to call it, mini dingle dangle, that's a good thing. Okay, that's it. That's all I'm going to use. In fact, I would believe that's a little bit big, but the flounder here are very aggressive when they are around, so I'm going to do exactly the same thing to the next hook that I'm going to get in the sea. So the tide, the wind and the weed all together are too much for my cone sinkers. It's just a matter of literally 30-40 seconds before the rig has moved around and it's driven up on the beach because of the weed on the line. So now I am changing over to a gripper. I'm just going to use the paternoster rig because this clip down Wessex that I'm using, or pulley X, is a traveling rig. So I'm just going to fish a paternoster, pulley P, get in the sea. So this is basically the entire session. Can't keep a bait in the water for longer than 5 minutes, so you know what to do, right? So I have had a few casts, but I still haven't caught any fish yet. And this is what is coming my way weather-wise. It is now this time. If it starts raining, I'm just going to pack up and feck off. Maybe the weed will shuffle away and I will get some more fish today. So it looks like the kiss of death. So I had 2 worms left in that packet. I'm going to save the last one. So here's the last cast. So that's it for me. So I hope you enjoyed my fishing in the wind tips and tricks to help you get more out of the day than you would have lost by just turning on your tail and going home. I'm Billy. This is Billy giving you tips wherever you are in the world. Remember, I'll see you on the beach. Bye.